Hey. You know what time it is.
Time for the heart to heart journey to unconditional love podcast.
That's right. And I'm your host, Late Bloomer. That is my co-host, Harlan Brown. And Harlan Brown, what's up? What's up?
What do you do? How you doing? What's going on?
Hey, man, I'm blessed as always. I am blessed by the best. I just, man, you don't know, man. I'm just blessed by the best. But another week, another podcast. What we talk about today? Let's just
Absolutely.
get right into it. What we talk about today?
Come on, what we get? Put it up there. We'll get
Oh, I
to
gotta put it up. Jeez.
yes. Come on.
There you go. Okay. Our
Okay, well, dang,
conversation
I
is about
probably should have been a
patience.
little bit more patient, huh?
Right. We talk about patience, and you like, all right, you sure you don't have any. So we got to make sure we let the audience know we talking about patience today. And
No problem.
it's one of those things. Patience in a relationship is kind of tricky because I know a lot of people our age, they don't have the time or the patience to wait, you know, for someone to come around to a relationship to evolve. And I'm just here, or we're here to tell them, like, look, pump your brakes, have the patience, understand that everything, although we live in an instant society, you've had long-term relationships before. Be patient about getting your next one. And I know you don't have time to tolerate a lot of things. And I know we've become shorter patience of a lot of things because we talk about what you won't do in a relationship as opposed to what you will do in a relationship. So that's why
Right.
we're here to just give you a small little word over this holiday season to say, have patience when it comes to starting a relationship, beginning a relationship, or even if you're somewhere in the middle of the relationship, just have the patience because it's needed. What do you think about that?
I think patience is definitely something that you have to have when you're in any kind of relationship. I mean, it is your, it is I want to say that it kind of contributes to what you want the relationship to be, right? So you have to have patience in creating what it is that you want to create with this relationship. So yeah, it's a key point. It's the key to having a lasting relationship and understanding the individual that you're with. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. So let's start here because I think the main thing that some women, um, or just people in general, don't have patience with is the inconsistencies that they get from men or women. Talk
I think
about that and how we can combat that. Not so much combat it, but how we can have patience for some people who have inconsistencies to get consistent.
I think for the most part, when things become inconsistent, I think in the mind of the person that is receiving the inconsistency, they are not understanding why things are changing, or like sometimes you're available, sometimes you're not, type of thing. I think a lot of times it requires communication so that you will understand, like, maybe I'm a little bit busy, I got a project at work that's taking a lot of my time. But it's not to say that just because you have these things going on, if you are trying to cultivate a relationship with somebody, please, like, take 2 seconds, send a text or something, just like, hey, thinking about you. But like, I mean, especially if you have had communication all the time, it's kind of a hard stop. It's a brick wall that you hit when all of a sudden everything goes silent and you don't know what is going on. So, and like you said, being in relationships before, it's not a comparison, but it's just saying that, okay, so maybe this person, maybe I read the room wrong. A lot of people think maybe I read the room wrong. Maybe that wasn't what the intent was. Maybe this person wasn't like that into me. So it's one of those things where you really do need to have those conversations, because without them, you really don't know. And you leave the person open for speculation and trying to figure it out themselves. Because when you're left hanging by yourself, you're trying to rationalizing yourself why this happened instead of having that conversation with the other person.
Yeah, I get it. But when you're saying that you're leaving a person out on the island, leaving them, hanging, It's an adjustment period for both parties, but it may be more of an adjustment period for the other person than one. Speak to that, because what I think is a lot of times inconsistencies, and I can speak for men or I can speak for this man. Inconsistencies come with me because I hear something sometimes, but I'm so used to doing everything on my own that now to try to incorporate somebody, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, especially in relationships. I mean, I think a lot of women want men to be ready immediately. Um, and although you're still working on yourself somewhat, you might be almost done really working with yourself. It's just a matter of now you have to incorporate somebody else. And then to get that incorporation, it takes a lot of things to change. One is the inconsistency or consistency of calling each other every day, checking on each other every day, the inconsistencies of when you're going to see this person, how you're going to see this person, the inconsistencies of you say you're busy, and you got things you got to do, but why are you trying to talk to me now? You get one of the things, but it's the patience that is needed, especially when you find a good person. And I think that's what I'm getting at is sometimes the inconsistencies are there. You have a really good person, that's a good person because you wouldn't have given them time of day. But now all of a sudden, now because of the inconsistencies, you're thinking twice about it and said, oh no, this ain't right.
I think I think for the most part with the inconsistencies, and if you have a good person, I mean, it's rare to find somebody that you really can vibe with and chill with and who is authentic. Um, and for me, I think that's just something that I would want to make sure that that was a priority, that I keep that connection open, that keep that connection consistent. I think for the most part, I think some people are not impatient with inconsistency. I think that they're impatient with not understanding the inconsistency.
There you
I
go.
think
I
I
can agree.
think for the most part, I can rock with you all day, right? And understand that this is going to happen or this can happen. And we're at an age where we understand that life happens and there are some things that will change. Does not stop the disappointment of not being able to do the things that you want to do, but it doesn't mean that the person doesn't have patience with you. I think a lot of times people get into positions where the person may be disappointed in the fact that things didn't go through the way they wanted it to go through, but in the same sense, understand that it's okay for them to be disappointed, right? It's all right. Like
Yeah.
it's
But,
just part
but
of life. But
but I think that's the part of the impatience that comes with that. They're
I don't think
disappointed.
I
Yeah,
don't think
because
that's
listen
impatience
to this.
though.
Just hear me out here.
Mhm.
Because the first thing you say is like, well, you're too busy. When you get time, call me. It doesn't have to be that absolute or that finite. It could be, hey, you're going through stuff because sometimes there's a snowball effect of things. You got work, you got family, you got just life happens. Like things can happen, like I don't know, car breakdown, um, a unexpected bill comes up, kids need something, just so many things that could go on along and all happen in the same time frame. And it's like, well, you don't have time for me. Because you don't have time for me, I'm just going to look elsewhere. I'm just going to do something else instead of just working with that person and saying, hey, do what you got to do. When we get a chance to talk, we'll talk. Because I enjoy the time that we talk. And if I did enjoy the time that we talk, I would have been talking to you in the first place. But a lot of women make it finite. A lot of men make it finite, like, okay, you don't have time for me, so go ahead and do your thing, because they can't get you and hold you every day or hold you every other day. And I think that's where I'm talking about when it comes to patience and relationship. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I mean, if if there's we really have to understand that that first and foremost, we're two different people that have two different priorities, that have two sets of things that are going on. We've lived our lives separately all this time, and now you're coming together as one person and as a couple, not one person, but as a couple.
Right.
And as you come together as a couple, there are going to be things that will have to be compromised or things that has to happen. It's not I think that and I really want to stress the point that the inconsistency is not the inconsistency, although can be make you feel like you're on an island by yourself, but it also is something that I strongly suggest that has conversation behind it, because a lot of times, like I said, we've been in relationships before. Um, we come to conclusions because we're trying to protect our hearts, right? So we
Yeah.
come to conclusions
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
ourselves. So in order for me not to be hurt, then I can say, well, you know what? Maybe this person just wasn't that into me, and I'll be cool. I'm all right, and I'm gonna go ahead and do what it is that you know um give
But
them
that's
their
not the
space so they
case.
can no to give them their space. And when I say give them their space, sometimes you just need to give sometimes I think people need to have some space in order for them to understand, like, where does this person fit? Like, how do I make room for this person? And it's not a constant push to say, eh, for me, I think patience is just giving you the opportunity to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be the person that's telling you what needs to be done. I want you to figure it out, because in my mind, when you figure it out, it's because you want to figure it out. You want to
Yeah.
make room for me.
Right.
So
And
until
that's
that
the point. And
happens,
that's
I
the
got to
point.
give you that space.
Yeah, but that's the point that I'm making. That
Mm.
a lot of people don't have that patience. They're just ready to be like, okay, if it's not going their way, exactly the way that they want it, because again, what they're not going to do, they're not from before. I'm not going to have somebody just have me waiting out here, waiting for the call. To me, it's crazy. If you want to talk to somebody and you haven't heard from them, call them. Like, it's a big deal that I'm not gonna call you. I mean, but if you want to talk to me, call me. If you want to talk to me, text me. And because if I don't text you, obviously I'm busy, or I'm giving you space too, but I'm busy and I have things I have to do. Not saying I don't want to hear from you, and not saying because I didn't text you doesn't mean I'm not into you. But I think that's the message that comes across, because it's like that. But they have to realize that you're right. It's been a long time to have that before. I haven't messed with anybody for a long time, so now I got to get used to it. And it's like, oh shoot, I needed to text this person, and I'm so sorry. I've been busy. I let life get to me. Just wanted to say, hey, I'm thinking about you, whatever. And then the response back is, well, you too busy, for me. Don't worry about it. I'm not ready either. I'll talk to you later. You know what I mean? And you get that, and it's like, wow. But I thought we were really having conversations, because don't you think relationships takes patience? Like, you don't just jump into a relationship in one day or a week or 2 weeks or 3 months and be like, you know what I mean? And I think that's what people are doing now, um, because they have less patience. They want a microwaved relationship already on a platter, already the plate at the table, everything in place when they meet the person.
I think in some cases, and not all, I think in some cases when people see who they want and want what they want, that's what they do. They go for that, right? And they learn and they stumble along the way. And sometimes those relationships actually work out, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And then you have the people
Well,
who
let me
are
say
like,
this. I don't
mhm,
even mean to cut you off. They work out when you have the patience, and they don't work out when you don't have the patience, because you've given up and say, all right, I'm not even getting involved in this.
I think it works out because there was an attraction. The attraction was strong. They chose each other, and they decided that they were going to do whatever it is that makes it take for people to stay together. And
Having the
like I said,
patience, having the patience.
having the patience to understand this is the person that I chose and this is who I want to be with. And so I'm not taking patience out of it. I'm saying that patience is part of it. And then there's people who have the patience to say, I like you, but I don't know, like, we got to figure out, I don't. So the person who's, I don't know. And then there's the person who's like, well, I mean, I'm down. And then that kind of clashes, because the person who is down is like, okay, well, you have to have patience, right? Because you have to have patience, because this person is still, and so while you're trying to figure that out, I advise and I say that the person who is down for it, like, give them the space to figure out what they want. You never
Let me ask you a
want to
question.
come across as the person who is pushing people. But it's not having patience. It's saying, I'm going to allow you the time to see if you have room for this relationship, if you can make room for me, if you have space for me in your life. Because if you don't, then that's fine, but let the person know. And don't, I say, don't drag it. Like, just let the person know, like, I have so much going on, I don't have time, and it's okay.
Well, let me ask you this
There's some
question.
people who say, you know what, I don't really have a lot of time, but you know what, I want to see what we can do. So
Well,
it's just,
let me ask you this question real quick. So, how much time or how many times do you need to tell somebody and have a conversation with somebody in order for them to get what you're saying? So are you a one timer? Like, I told you once already, you ain't getting it. You ain't really trying to, you don't really want to work this out because I let you know and you're still doing the same thing. Are you a one-time person, or do you allow people to continue to have that conversation and you continue to have the conversation to let the relationship grow, as opposed to, I told you one time, you didn't do what I asked you one time. It's it. I can't, because this is who you are.
I believe that the conversation is definitely, I'm not going to say I'm a one-time person, but I probably will bring it up 2 or 3 times. If I see this is not your thing, right? This is just not your thing. Then why am I pushing it to make it your thing? That's how I feel. That's just my personal
Because a
feeling.
lot of people
Because
don't feel
at
like
the
you.
end of the day, if I say, oh, I mean, I text you, never respond, and that makes me feel some kind of way, right? And so I'm gonna continue to text, because that's who I am, because that's my habit that I formed of communicating with people, just saying good morning and stuff like that. That's my habit, right? I can't make that your habit. If you don't respond and you don't acknowledge it, then I have to stop. I'm not going to sit here and be frustrated and constantly texting like, and still nothing, still. At the end of the day, stop. Like, that's just not their thing. Like, you can say, hey, it would be nice if you did, but if they don't do it, then that's just not what they do. So how about stop frustrating yourself and just stop doing it? And then, like, I mean, for me, it's just a simple, like, fix it, right? Don't aggravate
But
yourself
it's not
trying
that
to
way.
make somebody do something that you do. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
So
But let me say this. So again, I know our time is up. We've gone a little further than I wanted to go with that, but it's great conversation. But we got to drop the scripture. So let's get the
absolutely.
scripture going here, and let me show you what we came up with. This one was it Ecclesiastes 7:8.
7 and 8.
Can you read that for the audience there, Harlem Brown?
Sure, absolutely. The end of a matter is better than the beginning, and the practice is better than pride. And and patience is better than pride. I'm sorry, I can't see this.
Well, you got to practice to have patience.
Yeah. Thank you for the grace.
The end of the matter is better than the beginning. Think of what it is. The end of the matter is better than the beginning. In the beginning, you're going to have some ebbs and flows, some ups and downs, some quirkiness, some inconsistency, some this and that. I just want the audience to know that, listen, have patience with your significant other, your partner, even if you're just starting out. Y'all are getting to learn each other, and by getting to learn each other doesn't mean that a person won't change. But I'll say, believe a person if they tell you who they are. That way you make a decision. But patience to, if you're really attracted to this person, if they've shown you something that you like, build on the good things and let those other inconsistencies work themselves out. You have enough time to say, okay, yeah, you know what? We've been at this for about 7 months and it's not working because this is not how I need it. We can part ways. That's better than after 7 weeks saying, okay, we've been at this. I'm not liking it, whatever, And then the second part to this, patience is better than pride. Take your pride out of this. You're prideful because you don't want nobody to tell you how to run your relationship. You're not going to accept these things. And that's your pride talking. That's not you getting to actually know the person in front of you, because you haven't had enough time to know that person, because you haven't given that person the patience to get to know, for you to get to know them, and vice versa. Some people move faster than others. Some people get it quicker than others. Some people takes a little bit more time. And as you get older, think about it. When you were working on something as a kid, you could get it done just like that. As you get older, now it takes a little bit longer because, one, you can't read the instructions because you can't see. So it takes you a little longer. And then you got to read it 2 or 3 times because now the language is a little different because it's expanded, it's done, and the vocabulary is different. And you're like, wait a minute, what? I remember I used to put this together in a day, but there are different parts now. Excuse me. There are different things that's going on. So patience to prepare and build something, and the end of the matter is better than the beginning, because the beginning, it's so tough to get that meshing, get that cohesiveness. But patience is better than pride. Don't let your pride get in the way of you losing a good person because your pride is telling you he's inconsistent, she's inconsistent, I don't want to deal with this, I'm good. What do you think about that?
I think you're right. Don't let your pride get in the way.
Well, it ain't me. This is the Bible. So they definitely, these are the words. These is definitely the word, because I couldn't come up with this.
Right. Don't let your pride get in the way. Be truthful with yourself. Understand who you are as a person and what you bring and what you're bringing and what you're getting out of the relationship. And just make sure that you're being truthful about it, because you have to have patience. Like, of course, ego will tell you that you should probably like run or walk away or whatever.
Walk away, right.
But also be kind to yourself and understand that it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to have those conversations. It's okay to get clarity, because if you don't have clarity, you'll walk away with never understanding or never knowing and always second guessing. So don't second guess if it's somebody that you like, and don't let your pride get in the way, and don't let your ego tell you, that it's not worth it. Because if you thought that it was worth it at one point,
it really is.
Then it's something that you should think about and you should really consider. Because I personally don't think that people actually get together just to like be mean to each other.
Yeah, I mean, but it is what it is. And I know we've had a great conversation on this. We're going to have to expand on this. So we're going to go further into this, because maybe we'll talk about patience and pride on the next podcast. I'm going to get any last words that you have on this and what we talked about today.
No, not at all.
No. So you know what time it is. As we end all our podcasts, trying to do something will keep you in your same place. But when you actually do something, your place has no limitations. I am your host, the late bloomer. That is my co-host, Harlan Brown. And we'll see you next week.
Next week.
Yeah.